Hello and welcome to NTA Nationwide. We're live in Abuja. I am Jumbai Yusuf. Now, Nigeria's 24 years uninterrupted democracy in the Fourth Republic should be sustained to be an example on the African continent. National Coordinator of the new Partnership for Africa's Development, NEPAD, Princess Gloria Okubudu, gave the advice at a symposium on the 2023 elections monitoring and observation in Abuja. Mia Ogidi tells us more.
22, 23.
2023, a year with huge electoral history. INEC declared results, tribunals declaring judgments, and here, NEPAD presenting its observations with the security agencies. From the peer reviews carried out and with institutional knowledge so far, the Nigeria NEPAD coordinator, Princess Gloria Akumodo, says Nigeria's 24 years democratization journey in the Fourth Republic places the country on a positive exemplary list.
This cycle of election will mark 24 years of unbroken democracy, which is very, very good for our nation. I've never seen any country that military governed and they were able to build their country. It's also the reason why we should please encourage democratic process to enable us realize the Nigeria we all want.
Documents containing joint institutional reports on the 2023 elections from different security agencies give signal that Nigeria electoral journey is on course, but the speed will be faster if
continuous sensitization of voters in terms of telling them the short-term, the medium-term, and the long-term effects of selling their votes.
For us in NYSC, it's a thing of joy for us because we did not lose any one of them. Every person returned.
Democracy is a process and not a project, and there is no politics in the policies of INEC. What is missing is more citizens' participation in the process. The participants here admitted. Mia Ogidi, NT News.
The National Coalition of APC 19 Northern State support groups have thrown its weight behind Dr. Maina Ismaila Gimba for appointment as Minister of Youth and Sports Development. The coalition says Dr. Maina has demonstrated the strong will and capacity to represent Nigerian youths at the ministerial level and appeal to the party's national leadership to endorse their choice for the collective future of youths in the country.
Does Dr. Abdullahi Ismail Maina for ministerial position because we want him to become the youth minister. We are his followers and we know his capacity, we know he's able to carry all the youths along.
The youth body cutting across states of the northern region appreciates the leadership of the National Working Committee and pledged their unallowed support for the success of all the parties' programs. Now, 500 families affected by violent conflicts in Mangu, Plateau State are said to receive 1 million naira each, courtesy of the Renewed Hope initiative. The donation is to support the rebuilding of their homes destroyed during the conflicts. Nigeria's First Lady and National Chairman of the initiative, Oluremi Tinubu, disclosed this during a meeting with wives of ministers at the villa. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
On your mandate, Bola, on your mandate, we shall stand.
That is the mood when members of the Ministers' Wives Forum, led by wife of the Minister of State for Petroleum, Oil, Susan Enekin Lopobiri, called on Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, in the State House to congratulate her on the recent victory of her husband, President Bola Tinubu, at the Presidential Elections Petitions Tribunal. They were also there to pledge their support for our pet project.
We will continue to support your dreams for Nigerians and to continually work behind the scene in supporting Mr. President's renewed hope agenda, making sure it succeeds beyond expectations of Nigerians, whether at home or in the diaspora.
The driving principle behind the Renewed Hope initiative is to turn lives around for families in Nigeria, and this is a duty that must be prioritized well and beyond the dictates of party politics.
Politics is over, so every state we want to really affect. We want to go in there because it's our state. Nigeria belongs to all of us. So when we want to begin politics, everybody will go back to their own tent. But right now, Nigeria is what is more important. It's more important than any party or any political affiliation. So our people, God brought all of us here for a reason. And I believe that the people, the colonial masters that put all of us together, saw the prospect in Nigeria.
From an initial projected number of 250, the number of affected families that will benefit from the 1 million naira donations by the Renewed Hope initiative is now put at 500.
They want to go back and rebuild. They want roofing sheets, nails, planks, and things to rebuild. So we thought, 1 million is justifiable enough from us. So we are appealing to other Nigerians to help. Because we can do it.
While urging female spouses of office holders to gear up to support their husbands in their assigned tasks, the First Lady says her office is planning a capacity building workshop on protocol and security to aid their delivery. In the State House, Adini Itaiwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the task of providing humanitarian intervention to victims of disaster is an onerous one and needs cooperation across board. This is not lost on the new helmsman at the Humanitarian Affairs Ministry, Dr. Betta Edu. And in continuation of efforts towards sustaining humanitarian interventions across the country, she has entered into partnership with the Nigerian Air Force. This was part of her agenda when she paid a visit to the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar in Abuja. Ruth Agwele reports.
A warm reception to herald the presence of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation by the Quarter Guards of the Nigerian Air Force. Now time for business. First on the banner is how to strengthen partnership with the Nigerian Air Force in achieving the present administration's 8-point agenda towards reducing poverty in the country. For the ministry, support in all areas is required, especially in the area of smooth operations of humanitarian interventions to targeted beneficiaries.
You're quite aware that we have a good number of persons who are either internally displaced or they're refugees or migrants or persons of concern really, and their communities. Some of them are in areas where it's difficult to actually assess them. We will be seeking your support.
We view our role in military aid to civil authority not merely as a duty, but also as an opportunity to serve our fellow citizens.
The partnership is expected to renew the agenda towards renewed hope for Nigerians. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
Let's bring you up to speed with other news making the rounds. As for the next 6 months, civil servants in Nasarawa State are to enjoy 10,000 naira each as palliative to cushion the impact of fuel subsidy removal. Governor Abdullahi Sule, who announced this at the distribution of the second phase of palliatives in Karo and Kefi local government areas, also said each pensioner will get 5,000 naira for the next 6 months. Aliu Tijani reports.
In addition to cash palliatives for civil servants and pensioners, the state government is to procure buses for interstate transportation at a subsidized fare. Also, 1,000 vulnerable persons carefully selected from each local government and development areas are to benefit from the second phase of palliatives distribution in the state. For Karo local government area, which has 2 development areas, a total of 3,000 indigenous persons benefited from the intervention. Governor Abdullahi Sule present 50 kg bags of rice and 5,000 naira to each beneficiary, with a promise that more persons will be captured in subsequent distributions. He appeals to the people of the state to be patient as government will address hardship being faced as a result of fuel subsidy removal.
Civil servants both at the state level and the local government level are going to be given 10,000 naira a month for the next 6 months. We also say pensioners are going to be given 5,000 naira a month, both at the state level and at the local government level for the next 6 months.
While at Kefi, Governor Sule also presents the palliatives to beneficiaries in the area. For the beneficiaries, the distribution is timely and will go a long way in alleviating their hardship.
Serious, it has relieved me from buying food outside. That this kind gesture that he has shown to us, we will never forget him.
To never get benefited before. We are very grateful with his administration.
Rice with the money, it will help us with my family.
The exercise will continue in the remaining local government areas as Governor Sule promises to personally distribute the palliatives to prevent diversion of the items. From Kefi, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
And to other interventions, the Cameroonian authorities recently announced the opening of Lac de Dam. And with this announcement, residents in flood-prone areas are advised to, as a matter of urgency, relocate to uplands for safety. Ndem Kalu reports that the Anambra State government is already on top of the situation.
Speaking on measures put in place by the state government to mitigate the impact of the flood, Commissioner for Information Paul Umonsu stated that IDP camps have been provided by Governor Soludo, urging all residents in flood-prone areas not to wait to see the flood before taking action to avoid regrets. He said the relocation order applies to older residents and children.
Governor Soludo is on top of the matter, all right? Then the chairman of flood committee, the deputy governor, Dr. Onyekachukwu Ibezi, the chairman, is on top of the matter. They are working day and night in conjunction with SEMA, to make sure that we don't lose any life and losses with regards to farm produce, poultry, livestock, and the rest of them, will be at the barest minimum.
The commission expressed optimism that residents will comply with the directive.
Our people are responding to our announcements, our calls, and to move out of harm's way.
The affected local governments in the state include Obaro, Ayamelum, Anambra East and West, Onitsha North and South, Oka North, Idemili South, Ekusigo, and Ihiala. In Oka, Ndem Kalo, NTA News.
And Jane Francis Obi is standing by at SEMA office Oka to tell us the measures adopted to overcome the perennial challenges. Jane? Hello, Jane, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good afternoon and welcome to Oka.
Okay, tell us the measures adopted to overcome the
rainfall intensifies. The flood alert by the National Emergency Management Agency of the opening of the Cameroon Lac de Dam has been a source of worry to residents of flood-prone areas in the state. Earlier, the Anambra State government has alerted of heavy rainfall and flood. And to discuss on what the state government has done to avert a worst-case scenario is with me, the PRO of Anambra State Emergency Management Agency, Chinyere Moye.
Good afternoon.
So what is the level of preparedness in the state?
SEMA, we are always prepared. Once we get predictions from NIMET The next thing is to go for early warning sensitization to these riverine areas that always experiences flood. After sensitization, we go on what we call water level assessments to ascertain the level of water at each point in time before the dams open or when they open the dam, to be able to know when to evacuate people from their homes to holding centers. We're always prepared. We work in synergy with Ministry of Information, which also helps the state in broadcasting these things, passing information across to the people, creating jingles and all other things to make sure that these people get the message clear that flood is coming, just as it has been predicted this year that flood is coming.
Okay, can we know the state of the IDP camps?
We have about 27 IDP camps in the states, and they are ready. I can say that, yes, they are ready. They've been fumigated, swept, and the grasses have been, we've cut the grasses. So I think the states, we are ready. The IDP camps, we are ready for it. We are ready for evacuation any moment if flood comes.
So are there facilities in the IDP camps that ensures comfort?
Yes. We have the toilets. We have the last time we've gone to assess. We've done assessment with other agencies like International Organization for Migration. They are partners in the states. We went for assessments. That was last week to ascertain the level of the readiness of the camps. So I think we are ready. We have health. The health is there. Toiletries, everything. SEMA is ready too.
So thank you. This is the much we can take from Oka. This is sending you back to our studio for continuation of the nationwide.
Thank you so much, Jane. Moving on. Government will not relent in providing the conducive learning environment for teaching and learning at all stages of education so that Nigerians of school age can realize their potentials. This is coming from the Federal Ministry of Education at the closing of this year's All Universities Debate Championship. Participants are reminded of the essence of the debate, which is not a must-win, but make them better speakers and intellectuals with coherent speaking mastery who learn from others.
The present administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is committed to ensure they persuade quality and inclusive education for all Nigerians.
At this level, we must begin to demonstrate to these youngsters that as a nation, as leaders, we are actually serious with education.
It can also bring you the opportunity to represent your school in local, national, and international tournaments.
Having almost 300 students here for a whole week is something spectacular.
Students of 19 universities cutting across federal, state and private debated on public speaking, which was won by the University of Ibadan, and second position went to Nnamdi Azikiwe University, while Uni-Ilorin won Best New Speaker. Now, in response to the 2010 earthquake that hit Haiti, the Nigerian government, as part of its support system, built a school to assist the Haitian government. The Nigerian High Commissioner to Jamaica, Belize, Haiti, and Dominican Republic inaugurated and handed over the academic facility with state-of-the-art equipment to the Haitian government.
As Nigeria, however, hands over the school project today, for the students are enjoined to make use of the excellent edifice that has been delivered to them. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is also instructive to state that today's event witnessed the commission of also signing of and handing over of the keys, to the municipal council.
Et nous sommes ici au ministère des Affaires étrangères, très impressionnés par cette réalisation qui a été faite par la République sœur du Nigeria pour la République d'Haïti et pour la communauté de Sodo.
The project, which began in 2015, was completed on the 23rd of August 2023. Still talking education, Ministry of Education will continue to leverage the existing progress and transformation in the development of literacy while setting the stage for lifelong learning of Nigerian adults and youth. The ministry made this commitment at the media briefing to mark 2023 International Literacy Day, using different platforms viable to it. The ministry will create a paradigm shift from the usual way of doing things in the past to achieve reducing to the barest the number of illiterates in the society.
Specifically, it awakens our consciousness to the need to continually make required adjustments in our approach to education and literacy delivery with a view to meeting the current global trends and needs.
The theme of the 2023 International Literacy Day is promoting literacy for a world in transition, building the foundation for sustainable and peaceful society, awaken the collective consciousness to the need to continually make required adjustments in the approach to literacy delivery with a view to meeting the current global trends. The International Literacy Day is observed annually on September 8th that highlight the essential role of literacy in the personal development and progress of the society. The Global Day, established by the United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organizations, UNESCO, serves as a reminder of the importance of literacy as a matter of dignity and human rights. Time now to join Adiola Kamiakere in Lagos with a set of stories from that zone. Hello, Adiola. It's good to see you.
Hello, Jumai. As Nigeria shifts more attention towards harnessing its rich blue economy, protecting the territorial integrity of its coastline, as well as keeping the wealth in its waters safe, has become an imperative. As one of the key elements in the mix, the Nigerian Navy is demonstrating its commitment to this goal by forging necessary alliances. Hingino John Adams reports that a port visit by Brazilian Navy ship frigate Liberal to the Western Naval Command is one of such synergies.
After a voyage across many nautical miles from the shores of Brazil, Brazilian Navy ship frigate Liberal arrived Nigerian domain with the aim of exploring areas of collaboration that will enhance maritime security within the western coast of Africa. A warm and welcoming handshake from the Nigerian Navy to the Brazilian Navy there, a sign of good bilateral relationship between the two countries anchored around thriving defense ties. Flag Officer Commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Mohammed Abdullahi, who was represented by the Chief Staff Officer of the command, went down memory lane, recalling the long-standing historical ties between both countries, which this partnership is expected to solidify.
They've been involved in anti-piracy operations, and as you know, Nigerian Navy is known to have brought piracy from a very high to zero level in the Gulf of Guinea. So they have something to also learn from us, while we too we have so much to learn from them.
Impressed by the delisting of Nigeria from piracy-prone countries, Rear Admiral Andre Felix, the 2nd Fleet's Division Commander of the Brazilian Navy, says this visit will further strengthen the gains.
Nigerian Navy has collaborating too much to that, huge efforts to reduce to zero. And we want to also learn about it and share these experiences.
With joint sea exercises, drills and patrols on the table, the 3-day port call is expected to create room for officers and men of both navies to learn from each other. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And talking literacy now. The Sustainable Development Goal 4 emphasizes inclusive and equitable quality education while promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. And one of the ways of eliminating forms of discrimination in education is the platform provided by the International Literacy Day. To accelerate progress towards the achievement of this agenda and reflect on the role of literacy in building a more inclusive and peaceful society, experts say requires partnership.
Global literacy rate in 2021 stood at 77.62%, with Nigeria's index growing by 13.9% between 2010 and 2021. On a year-on-year basis, the literacy rate increased by 0.13% in 2021. The percentage of the population in each age group of literate individuals is what has been used to measure the rate of literacy in communities. The rapidly changing global outlook over the past years has hampered the literacy progress and widening inequalities across world regions, countries and populations, as people hardly visit libraries to do research.
Basically, education becomes or provides a foundation for development. It's a groundwork, the fulcrum on which economic development actually rides on.
In low and medium income countries, the population of 10-year-old children who could not read and understand a simple text with comprehension has increased from 57% in 2019 to an estimated 70% in 2022. What is the rate of literate people in Nigeria, and how does it impact the development of the country?
The youth, empowering them with basic skills that they need so that they can contribute positively to the economic growth of the nation.
What we need to do first is for us to boost our intellectuality and try to understand the difference between illiteracy and literacy.
I think if there was free and quality education, a lot of children would be in school.
Government, on its part, has been designing programs to promote all-inclusiveness to empower more Nigerians across sectors towards the attainment of quality education. Since 1967, the International Literacy Day has remained a major platform to enlighten the public on the importance of literacy as a matter of dignity and human rights, as well as the advancement of human capacity in a sustainable society.
And those are the stories from Lagos. For now, be reminded that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. Just is where we will go next after this break. And Felicia is standing by to give us stories from that zone. To stay.
Still on to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Welcome to JOS. In recognition of potato as a food security crop, the federal government has launched the National Potato Strategy 2023-2028 with the aim of transforming Nigeria's potato subsector into major exporter of the product. Ruth Stephen Hoke has details.
In an era where global food trends are globally evolving, potato remains a staple food for all. As a result, the federal government says the National Potato Strategy 2023-2028 will change the narrative for a more productive competition in the potato industry. Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Ernest Afolabi, represented, says, regardless of the challenges in the agricultural sector, measures will be put in place to stimulate economic growth through various agricultural value chain activities.
The ministry is embarking on massive production, processing, value addition, and product development to be the bedrock for driving the agro-industries.
Governor Caleb Mufwang, represented, noted that economic sustenance as well as enhancing food production in the state will be implemented.
For us, this is the home of potatoes in Nigeria. I want to assure you that we're going to study this document carefully, and we will be in the forefront of implementing this strategy.
Our mutual goal is to strengthen the income, employment,
financial inclusion, and food security.
Look at how we can strategize for the benefit of the farmers, the nation, and Africa as a whole.
In Jos, Ruth Stephen Hoke, NTA News.
In other news, corps members in Plateau State have been assured of improvements in their welfare and adequate security. Governor Caleb Mutfwang gave the assurance during his visit to the National Youth Service Corps Temporary Orientation Camp, Dweidu, Jos South Local Government Area. Grace Akweko-Tip completes the reports.
It was a joyful moment for the corps members at the temporary NYSC orientation camp, where Governor Caleb Mutfwang visited the corps members as they were visibly elated with the governor's assurance to make their stay on the plateau worthwhile.
I wish you the best of stay on the plateau, and I wish you a great and fantastic future. You will break barriers. You will scale boundaries. You will be greater than your parents.
The state coordinator, Esther Ipolati, says the leadership quality of the governor, especially his youth-friendly disposition, is worthy of emulation.
Since the day one they came, they have shown us that they are children that are well brought up. And I told them one day, I said, I'm not surprised you're in Plateau State. The governor is a very good man.
She appreciated the governor for providing a conducive temporary camp with adequate feeding. She, however, appealed to the governor for the completion of the permanent orientation camp with proper security arrangement for next year's orientation. In Jos, Grace Akwego-Tip, NTA News.
Those are the stories from here. Jumai is back to you in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Felicia. Kebbi State Governor Dr. Nasir Idris says he will continue to leverage the support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to deliver the dividends of democracy to the people of the state. The governor gave the assurance at an event to mark his 100 days in office. Correspondent Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa reports.
Within the first 100 days of Dr. Nasir Idris in office as Kebbi State Governor, developmental strides begin to manifest through rehabilitation of roads within and outside the state. He awarded the contract for the completion of the abandoned ultra-modern state secretariat, construction and rehabilitation of secondary schools, and provision of free fertilizers to farmers for agricultural revolution in the state, among others.
This administration will not hold it down and see that people that were being entrusted to distribute this associated grants diverted it to another use.
Also, instead of social welfare, I mean the humanitarian aid, a lot of things have been given. Currently, as rightly said, the palliatives is going to be distributed within a very short possible time.
The people are also hopeful that he will not relent in fulfilling his campaign promises to them. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdul Jalil Muhammad Bawa, NTA News.
The Kaduna State government has opened a new women and child shelter which will serve as a transit home for children and women who are subjected to domestic violence for proper counseling. Haruna Mohammed reports.
Jubilation as women and children in Kaduna State who experience one form of abuse or the other gets a transit home while they undergo medical as well legal support for them to get justice. The center is fully equipped with modern facilities for them to relax and forget their past. The Kaduna State Deputy Governor Hadiza Balarabe expressed dissatisfaction with the increase in the number of victims, promising them that the state will take urgent steps to address the problem. This center will be managed by relevant government agencies in the state under the supervision of the Deputy Governor's Office. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
We now join Haruna live from Kaduna for update and, a little bit of understanding on this initiative by the Kaduna State government. Women have been subjected to a lot of domestic abuse, including children. Is this the first time this initiative is being done in Kaduna? And how was the reaction from the people?
Yes, globally, women and children are termed to be vulnerable in the society as they go through various forms of abuses, ranging from rape to domestic violence, among others. Just a few days ago, the governor of Kaduna State, Senator Obasani, marked his 100 days in office and inaugurating various projects in the state. This edifice is among the projects which were inaugurated by the governor of Kaduna State, called Women and Children Shelter. It serves as a temporary home where the children and women are going to be given psychosocial support as well as legal backing before they will be reunited with their family. But with me is the Commissioner for Human Services and Social Development, Rabi Salisu, to take us into the project.
Well done.
Ma, can you tell us the scope behind this project?
Actually, as you all know globally, that women are the most vulnerable people in the society. Kaduna State government think deeply by providing this shelter, which we had another home which we call temporary shelter before now, which was launched in 2017. But this is our permanent shelter, which is one in his kind in the whole of northern Nigeria. I think we don't have any place like this in Kaduna State, where we have women that have gone through domestic violence or maybe through forced marriages, and also children and women who have been abused, whether rape or any child of molestation, child trafficking, loss of children, or women that have maybe depression or mental illness because of their domestic violence they have gone through in their husband's hands or in the hand of anybody that is taking care of them, maybe child be molested by a parent or someone that is taking care of him. That is how this shelter has come through, which we are going to be giving them social and psychological support. We have lawyers that are also taking all our issues to court so that these children that are in conflict of the law also will seek justice through this shelter. And we have skill acquisition centers that they can train. Due to it is also a temporary shelter, but before going they have maximum of 3 months here, so they can have some skills that they can go back home with it after reuniting them back to their families. This shelter is going to, I can take you around to see other skill acquisition centers that we have in this shelter.
Okay, this shelter is located in the heart of Kaduna State, the state capital. Yes. There are 23 local governments in the state. How is this shelter going to be operating due to we also have victims in other local governments in the state?
Yes, when we have a victim in other local government area in the Kaduna State, in all our 23 local government areas, we have social workers, and the cases will be referred back to Kaduna State because of we need a maximum security and also the facility. I don't think if we have it in every local government, it's not bad, but for now we have it only in Kaduna. All cases are going to be referred back to Kaduna State for proper action and welfare of the victims and the survivors.
Can you tell us about the statistics of these cases in Kaduna? And since it is inaugurated, have you had any case here?
Yes, as I have said earlier, we had a temporary shelter in Barnawa, that is Kaduna South, which we have taken most of the children and the women back here. As we are talking to you now, we have almost 17 to 18 people in this shelter right away, and we had one case of domestic violence.
Okay, that's much as we can take from you. That is what the state governor is doing to ensure that women and children are given the necessary attention in the state. We'll now hand over to Agatha in Benin.
Thank you for joining us in Benin. Now, Nigerians are recommending a new model of governance that places emphasis on knowledge and competence of political leaders, as well as constant education of voters on the importance of their roles in the electoral process. This, they say, will enrich the nation's democratic system and translate to good governance, the hallmark of democracy. Since the return of democracy in 1999, effective governance at all levels, many Nigerians believe, is a major challenge the nation is grappling with. Though elections are essential for decision-making in a democracy and builds the foundation for good governance, a credible, transparent and acceptable process driven by enlightened voters on the competence of political leaders to recognize challenges being faced by the people and map out strategies to overcome them will raise the bar in governance.
Many people aspire to come to any political office they want to aspire to get to. At the end of the day, they think about themselves first.
You need to emasculate the space for critical thinking.
On the perceived disenchantment, especially among youths who are demanding good governance, stakeholders say it is urgent to get the system working.
We must look for people that we can hold accountable. If you didn't buy my vote, I willingly gave it to you, and you are not doing well, I can call you to order.
We need to deal and appreciate the cancer of religion and ethnicity, particularly when they are deployed as an opportunistic tool.
With the Tinubu's administration of renewed hope, stakeholders expressed the conviction that the roadblocks to a strong democracy that guarantees effective governance through the electoral process will be surmounted. And the Edo State National Assembly Election Petitions Tribunal sitting in Benin City has validated the election of Murphy Omowi Imasuen of Labour Party for Ego Ibubaoka Federal Constituency. The court also upheld the election of Iyawe Esosa of the Labour Party for Oedo Federal Constituency and dismissed the petition by Sunday Izunwa Agwebo of the PDP. Rosemary Omani has details.
The petitioners, Okwarobo Henry Osamwede of the PDP and Eribo Crosby Osadolo of the APC, had filed separate petitions praying the court to void the election of Murphy Imasuen, alleging election malpractice and non-compliance with the Electoral Act 2022 as amended, among other irregularities. Considering the arguments and evidence before the tribunal, the court thereafter dismissed the petition for lacking in merit.
The petition they brought, the court found that it was frivolous and had no basis. For instance, they were saying that it was not duly sponsored by the party, and we are not a member of the party, and showed that Labour Party sponsored this man.
The court has pronounced, and they are the final arbiter who will do the needful.
In a related development, the petition filed by Sunday Agwebo of the PDP challenging the winner of Owedo Federal Constituency, Esosa of Labour Party, also suffered the same fate. Adopting the final written addresses in the petitions filed by Imafidon Augustine Rotimi of the APC versus Osanwoyi KC of PDP and Derek Nwanwo of Labour Party versus Osawaru Natasha Irobosa of PDP. The tribunal subsequently reserved its judgment on the two cases at a later date. In Benin, Rosemary Omani, NTA News.
And it's time for another break. When Nationwide returns, Ladidi in Maiduguri will be on. Stay with us. Welcome to Maiduguri. Thanks for joining us. As part of effort to addressing challenges of the ecosystem, such as of climate change, desert encroachment, and related environmental hazards, Borno State government has flagged off of planting 1.2 million seedlings for the 2023 tree planting campaign. Governor Babagana Umar Zulum, who flagged off the exercise, tagged
trees for a settlement at the Borno State University Teaching Hospital under construction, also announced plans to plant 10 million additional seedlings in the 2024 exercise. Mohammed Goni reports.
Climate vulnerability, desertification, and other environmental challenges have continued to attract national, regional, and international attention. Towards addressing the menace, World Bank-funded programs such as Great Green Wall and Nigeria Erosion and Watershed Management projects were above to address environmental issues at continental and national levels. The 13 years of insurgency in the northeast has resulted in loss of 80% of vegetation in Borno, compelling authorities to come up with one range of policies and programs to address the environmental challenges.
I therefore request the general public, NGOs, clubs, associations, and all agencies charged with the responsibility of tree planting to please come and collect seedlings as much as possible and not only plant them, but nurture them to maturity.
The governor also directed Ministry for Environment to resuscitate the afforestation unit and make available low-energy stuff for public to discourage illegal felling of trees. Shehu Borno Abubakar ibn Umar Garba El-Kanami, represented by Shatima Kanuribe of Borno, Motawalli Shatima Bukar, described the exercise as timely and assured continued support of the Council of Traditional Leaders to all policies and programs of government. Commissioner for Environment Mohamed Ahmed Kois, who noted the various policies and programs initiated by Zulum administration to protect the environment, also called on local NGOs, clubs and associations to collect more seedlings for planting. In Maiduguri, Mohamed Goni, NTA News.
That does it from Maiduguri. Nationwide continues with Jummai in Abuja. Jummai, over to you.
Thank you, Ladidi. A new Sean of Ogbomosho land has been installed. He is Oba Gandhi Afolabi Olaoye Oromagege III. His installation followed the approval by Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State 6 days ago. Bumi Idowu has the details.
The installation of the new Seun of Ogbomosho land, the Oba Gandhi Afolabi Olaoye Oromagege III, is the climax of the selection process, which started following the demise of the late Seun of Ogbomosho land, Oba Oyewumi Ajagungbade III, which occurred on January 12, 2021. The new Seun of Ogbomosho land met the criteria by the kingmakers and was approved by Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State last Saturday. The new monarch is a pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Oba Olaoye graduated from the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife in 1982 with honors degree in English and Literature Studies. He also holds a master's degree in Industrial and Labor Relations from the University of Ibadan in 1987. He is the Chief Executive Officer, Peculiar People Management, which is a management and human resource consulting company. He is also the chairman of the Great Places to Work Institute Nigeria, which is the global research and management consultancy firm, among others. The new monarch is married with children. His installation as the new Seun went through the traditional rites in the ancient palace. From Ogbomosho, Bumi Idowu, NTA News.
Let's now join Olumide Eguntola for sports update.
As the Super Eagles of Nigeria gradually runs off preparation for the final AFCON qualifying match, football-loving Nigerians are not expecting less of emphatic first-leg result recorded away, which is in line with the team's handlers' focus, judging from the caliber of players invited for the match, slated for this Sunday at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo.
This should be an exhibition match for some of the new players being introduced into the side. All the same, I'm expecting a whole lot of goals in that match, and hopefully Victor Osimhen can add to his tally so you could get more goals.
Taban is there, and Boniface is also in. If you have all these good players with you and your squad, you should be able to mold them into a big contender for the Nations Cup.
In the Nigeria Football Premier League, club sides are looking forward to more friendly games to keep players fit ahead of the new season. This is sequel to the indefinite postponement of the 2023-2024 season, earlier scheduled to start on Saturday, 9th of September. In grassroots sports development, Jigawa State has assured its readiness towards returning the value of sports to engage youth and improve socio-economic well-being of the state. Governor Umar Namadi made this known at the closing of the final football match competition organized to commemorate his 100 days in office.
It will be an opportunity to scout young talents to see how government will assist them to be self-reliant.
In tennis, Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic will attempt to set up another showdown in a Grand Slam final at the US Open Friday. The defending champion Alcaraz meets Russian third seed Daniil Medvedev as Djokovic tackles American Ben Shelton. In the women category, Coco Gauff cruises into Saturday's final after defeating Karolina Muchova 6-4, 7-5, and will face another American player, Martin Keys or Arina Sablenka. With sports update, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
Sports Update wraps up NTA Nationwide for today. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jummai Yusuf.